G'day, and welcome back to Mountain Goat Gaming. I am Sean, here with the illustrious, bearded Collingwood supporter, Alex. And also here with our boy from No Might, No Fate, but Three Will,
Ooh,
Damo.
yep. We got the three wheel. Yep.
Three's in all the right places, baby.
That's it. Denethor, baby. Woo!
Before we dive into our topic here, which is going to be Minimise, a great tournament held in Victoria. Damo, tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us a little run through.
Ooh. So my journey started, I think, like just as COVID hit Australia. So what was that, 2021, 2020? Something
Yeah,
like
something
that.
like that.
And I actually rocked up to my first ever like intro session. There's this big burly bloke with a massive beard and a little mask. And I'm like, oh, this guy looks sick. And that's when I met Geordie. And Geordie has been like my mentor ever since I started playing. I split the box, the Palinor Field box when I started with one of my compatriots in No Might No Fate. And we started playing pretty much from there on exclusively at Throw the Dice.
Okay.
And then over the years, I've gotten better. I've only been in the hobby for 4 years. Yeah, that's how math works. So I'm a baby compared to like everyone else at this point in time. But I think I'm a baby that can like really give out some good punches. So
That's it.
I
As long as
honestly,
you're making people sweat.
that's it.
I was going to say it's actually one of the rarer things to hear about someone who isn't returning to the hobby. There's not many people who are fresh into it out of nowhere. Where obviously you've played a lot of other miniature games as well, but it feels like a lot of people hit COVID and came back after being there early 2000s and whatnot. So it's
Yeah.
interesting to hear from someone who's genuinely new to the hobby, which is
Yeah. As a whole, I mean, I never thought I'd ever paint like little miniature guys. So here I
But
am.
here you are. And it is really good and really showing and telling that we are getting new people into the hobby. People say this is a dead game, but Damo, you're out here proving them wrong.
That's it. I mean, it's Lord of the Rings, baby. What's
Who
not to
doesn't
love?
who doesn't love a bit of Lord of the Rings?
That's it.
If you like Rings of Power, you're fucking wrong though. Anyway, we're here to talk about, as I mentioned, Minimise. So this is the longest running tournament held in Australia. It started in, was it 2009, I believe?
early days. So as far as we
Uh,
know, we don't know if there is a consecutively running tournament in the world. If we're wrong, get in the comments, let us know.
Let us know, because this has gone every single year since, I want to say, 2009, potentially pre
Yeah,
2009.
managed to
It,
work through COVID as well, even with I think it was like a 10-player tournament that one year, just because that's all you were allowed in the same building.
yeah.
Yeah,
So,
but I bet they don't have like this giant banner that has everyone's name on it. So
yeah, exactly. It's great when you win or when you podium at this event, you get your name written down on a banner. And I got into this hobby in 2010. Minimize was happening before I started, and I remember seeing that banner. And throughout the years of going to Minimize, seeing that banner and just wishing and hoping that one day my name would be gilded on that beautiful blue banner. So let's see if that happens, hey? Anyway,
100%.
Minimize. Let's dive into that next slide.
But first,
Oh,
ooh,
whoa!
before we keep going, the way to get past into the rest of the PowerPoint. Get in there, like, comment, share it to your friends if you have any.
Your mums,
Nah,
your dads, your
Your mums,
no
stepdads,
friends.
your stepmums, your stepbrothers, your stepsisters.
your
Grandma.
future children. What?
Yeah. If you've got a side chick and you're having an affair, share it to them as well. Just everyone. Your dog.
Get your dog. Get your
Dog.
dog on it.
Get your dog on it.
Get your dog
Make
on it.
fake accounts and do all
Oh,
that.
amazing. Oh, we are the worst at shelling. Awesome. So what is minimized? So for a while, this is one of the smallest tournaments points wise run down, which is 300 points, which I think is a fantastic points level.
One of my favorites.
I love it so much because you get either the heavy swing of bringing a massive hero, not having a lot to work with, or you can get some decent numbers out there, but not too much to go too crazy. You're working on some slightly smaller boards. David's adjusted the scenarios as well to make them not dumb.
Now, what were the board size? It was at 3
3 by
by
4, and you're playing you're playing up narrowly instead of wide.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah. But yeah, because those scenarios we actually changed this year. So if we had Fog of War, but fantastic change as well. If you only had one hero, the opponent could choose a warrior model to also count as a hero to target, and you can always target the leader, which is great change. You don't have some massive thrall that just can't be killed, and it's just a bit lame. Capturing control ran as normal. Destroy supplies, everyone had almost like a fake banner, so you gave it to a warrior model. It didn't count as a banner for rerolls, but it counted for VPs. It could pass along like a banner, which again is just at 300 points. You don't want to feel like you have to take a banner in order to score VPs. Which is again the freedom of list building, huh?
That's it. And David's been such a mainstay and a pillar of the Victorian community for years and years and years, that any slight changes that he makes for minimize, you would tend to agree with, and you look at them and you go, these are good changes for the game. And if they became, part of the proper, I say proper rules, but if they became part of the rule set that G-Dub puts out, you'd have no problem with them. You really wouldn't.
Oh, 100%. And I think even when he used to do hold ground as well, he didn't do alternating, but he allowed the person that won priority for Maelstrom was allowed to declare that the warband before rolling had rolled a 1 and just wasn't coming in that turn.
Oh,
which is also really interesting, and again allowed you to not get absolutely
one shot by a great beast.
Yeah, that's the one.
Or 2.
Or 3. Or 5.
Prizes, I guess. The main thing is getting on that banner, getting on the podium, get your name embroidered on that banner, which shows up to a lot of tournaments in Victoria.
Yes. Yeah, anywhere David goes, he's lugging that thing
That
around.
banner's there.
He's got his helmet on, he's got the banner behind him.
And a cape. He's got a cape.
And the cape on. Absolutely. And now, you would have, people would have also seen David, just for those who aren't on the Conquest Champions League Season 3.
Yeah, what was he? He was running the Great Beast on that one.
With like a Taskmaster, a Drummer, a Shaman, and the Witch King.
Yeah, beautiful. Now, something that we haven't touched on with Minimize yet is talking about how it is a themey event, and that is the main focus of this tournament. So, have a nice themed army, have a beautiful display board, well painted, do little write-ups about your army,
draw maps,
dress up, make maps.
You can't forget about the best and the most important, which is singing a song.
Singing a song.
Singing a song.
Now, at the end of this video, you got to stay for this. Alex is going to sing his rendition of "Call Me Maybe."
Oh, hell yeah!
No, I'm not.
Live and for everyone.
There was not 3 rounds. We talked about 3 scenarios. There were 4 rounds, which is, again, one of my favorite aspects. Is round 4 is a double scenario. Who do you get paired up with, though? It is a top and tail doubles round. So whoever's coming first gets paired up with the person in last, and they verse number 2 and second last. And so you get this kind of mentor and mentee aspect going into the last round. Over the years, we've tried some of the GW double scenarios, and it just didn't work because they're bad.
Yeah. There was always that issue of what was the one where you deploy in like the corners?
Battle of Wits.
The bad one. Doesn't matter. Anyway,
that's somehow the best one.
Yeah, you gang up on one player, and it was garbage.
And it was always the experienced player that got destroyed.
Yeah, and the whole point of it is to like bring them in, make them feel welcome, playing with them, which I'm sure we'll get into when we get around to talking about that. But David, the fact that David goes around and modifies all these scenarios for 300 points, and then the fun aspect of the tournament is massive, because you got the fun aspect, but it's also kind of super competitive in a way that you don't get at those maximum points levels, like 750 points. I love playing it, but 300 points, you can really like see the better players.
There's something about that micromanaging that you really have to do at, say, 300 points. Every move that you make is vital. And this is going to happen with that double scenario that I believe. Did you write that up with David?
I wrote
Alex?
I wrote the original version for last year. I had a doubles tournament that was essentially good and evil armies fighting side by side. And so I wrote a double scenario because I just wanted people to be able to fight together, deploying on the same board edge. And it was just essentially a massive scenario with essentially as many objectives as possible crammed in. David made some slight changes, so he added more objectives and altered the scoring. So I think the max VPs you can get is something like 28,
Yeah, it
which
was
is,
it
again,
was
is
something wild.
fantastic. And we do have a rough look at this absolute
This
shenaniganry.
Chaos.
looking at this as the round started, because I had no idea that we were going into this. I looked at this and I had the three people that were at the table with me. So my partner, quite new to the game, uh, Chris and Chris, who I was versing, both of them are very new to the game, and they were going, "Oh, how do we play this, Sean?" And I look at that and go, "Give me 10 minutes to read and figure this all out."
Yeah, and
But once we got
honestly, it is
into it,
annoying, but
oh
dude,
my lord, I have
it
not
is
had
one
so
of
much fun.
it is one of my favorite. And I hate to like brag, but this is one of my favorite things I've made. It's just because you can't rely on doing one. There's no, oh, I'm in the middle, therefore I win, like hold ground. It's
Yeah.
no. Hold ground in the middle is worth maybe 5 points, but it's 8 points if you get all the capture and control, and it's 4 points if you can manage to get the destroyer supplies. And there's always an out, and there's always a way to be somewhere your opponent isn't. And only 600 points on the board each team.
Yeah.
You can't be everywhere.
Again, what I mentioned before, at these points levels, every move you make is vital. And this really made that happen. If you moved, your goblin 3 inches to the left or whatever, suddenly it's out of range of one objective, but it's into another objective. But that gives your opponent space to move into that objective you've moved away from. And trying to manage how you're going to stop them from getting onto multiple objectives at the same time, and you getting onto it was wild. It was chaotic, but it was the most managed chaos I've ever been a part of, and I loved it.
It's great to hear. And again, it was always, we had so few models that often it was just one model getting objectives.
Yeah.
And when you're relying on that one dude to do it or pass a courage test, we have to fight one-on-one against a goblin. And it's like battle companies where like everything comes down to this one dude trying to kill one goblin. It's just like, that's the Lord of the Rings I love, that skirmish that but like, how much can this random dude do to it? Let's hear about our armies. Let's hear what we decided to take, what we decided to grace the table with. Damo, we've put up here, you have some absolutely stunning, and also we had your army at the very, very start. Some absolutely stunning converted models. Can you take us through the theme of it? Because I don't want to misrepresent your army and the theme.
No, that's fair enough. I better start off with like a little bit of backstory. So back in high school, our school never had the Lord of the Rings novels, which is heretical, I think.
Sacrilege.
Like, how do you not have The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings? But they had the Children of Hurin, which is insane because that book is like a horror story. And ever since then, it's been in the back of my mind. But I came across a post on Instagram a little while ago by Temple Forge, or the Forge Temple, sorry. And he did a Turin Turumba and Baleg Kuthalion conversion. So I'm like, this guy, this is exactly what I wanted to do. Instead of using like just one of the generic 3D prints where he's like standing on top of the cliff, I'm like, I'm going to run that. But I never had I guess I never had like the tournament that I could actually prepare for. 300 points, perfect. I can run the twins. It like solidifies the theme of like their relationship, where it's not borderline like, it's not like love like you love your wife. It's like the love of a brother. And
brotherly love.
When he kills his best friend, he goes into a rage. Accidentally, of course, but his whole family line's cursed. So I'm like, the twins perfect. If one dies, the other one goes insane. Only problem with that, they're 200 points. So I had a very small army, and then the rest of my army was high elf warriors. But I used like the MESBG, I think it was the Rangers, and then a couple of his, I guess they were his Mirkwood Rangers as like the bowmen, to have like a mix of like elves and men as the men of the Gauwaith, I think is the word. So the men of the forest of Brethel. So this is all first age stuff. And I think I had like 11 models and a couple bows and a couple dudes, and then I made like the display board. But yeah, mostly just focusing on these two big hitters because it's like the twins, they're fight 6, they're defense 6, and then just hoping that they don't whiff.
Yeah.
I spent a couple hours each night, like 2 or 3 hours for like 2 weeks straight, trying to do the conversions. I've never attempted something as insane as this because they're not real models. They're trying to forge. Because I'm not going to burn like $300 to make 2 models. That's insane. But I'm really happy with how they came out. And that's pretty much what my list is based around. It's Turin and Balig making a muck of Morgoth's plans in a forest, and then yeah, that's my boys.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
they as people can see on the PowerPoint here, very, very well done. And the dragon helm,
Mm.
ah,
Yeah,
glorious.
I mean, I've only been painting for a little while, but I've started dabbling in non-metallic metal, and I think these are probably, I mean, outside of my Marvel Crisis Protocol miniatures, these are probably my best non-metallics that I've probably ever done.
Hell yeah.
I was gonna
Hell
say the
yeah.
horse fur. I love it. Just
The texture on it.
yeah.
Yeah, that took I think 4 hours of just
Yeah,
doing
and just
little
doing and then
stripes on
going
him,
a tiniest shade lighter and then doing it again.
but I think it was worth it.
Oh,
Absolutely.
for sure, 100%.
Absolutely. Looks glorious.
Um, oh, I guess I'll go next and
Yeah,
Sean,
you
Sean
go.
go last. So I went for Ugluk Scouts, which is an army I hadn't played before, but had seen on the table. Now, all of my models actually, other than Grishnak, were already painted. My issue was I didn't like how they were painted, or they weren't really, they were always like rushed for a tournament. I never got to really finish them off. So other than fully painting up Grishnak, my kind of tournament prep for painting them was going over everything and just re-highlighting everything. So the skin for the Uruks went up to like a lighter grey. Their brown cloaks went up a bit more. Chucked some more stuff on their base for the leaves and the little mossy bits. Um, Chucked on some more white hands, which I actually had never gotten to. You can just see that my Ugluk already had like I clipped up a piece of wire and made it into like a detached spine, as if you'd just been yanked out of a dude's body. So I just bloodied that up a bit more, kind of re-highlighted the head of, I guess it's Snaga. Yeah, I guess
I'm
it's
pretty
Snaga.
sure it's Snaga. Yeah.
Yeah. And just had some fun with that. So the list overall, I was tossing around what to do, whether I spam out, but I went for Ugluk, Malher, Grishnak with the shield, and then 8 Uruks, 8 Orcs, and then there was like six bowmen with the Uruks and 2 shield, and then 6 spearmen, 2 two-handers for the Orcs. I didn't care that they were based differently. They're from different places. Get off my back.
Off thematic, no, not
But
having
otherwise,
it.
yeah, I was really interested to see how that would all work in terms of I want to add some animosity, but I also want spearmen. And just running around with 8 inches and having some fun. I was really hoping Ugluk wouldn't whiff because he just 2 attack heroes just do that.
Yeah. 2 attacks, D5. That man can
Yeah,
blood that.
exactly.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I had that display board for like the most part done, but just kind of tried to freshen it up a bit with some more flock and stuff, and it was kind of representing when they kind of are running through and the orcs are just kind of waiting for them and meet them, and yeah, that was my army.
Hell yeah. Well, unlike these two beautiful boys who actually had, put some thought behind their lists and everything, as I like to say, I raw dogged this tournament. I I was originally going to run Dale, but I had packed my Dale stuff away in my car with everything. Because a bit of context, I was moving from Victoria back to Queensland the day after Minimize happened. And I'd packed all my stuff away, and like 2 days out from the tournament, a day out from the tournament, I realized that I was not going to be able to get my hands on my Dale stuff without unpacking my car completely. So I looked at what I had available, that I could reach. And what did I have? 25 Goblin Prowlers. So I
That'll
ran
do.
Durbers, Groblog, and 25 Goblin Prowlers, which had recently, at the time, been painted up by Damo's mate, Geordie. Yeah, so he painted up my dragon for me. He painted up my Goblin Prowlers, because at the time I was going through some carpal tunnel issues, so I could not sit there and paint, 50 something goblins. So shout out to Geordie for that. But yeah, so I just took Groblog, Durbers, and a couple of Prowlers, and I didn't do any themey stuff. I literally just took my army there, plonked it on a table, carried it around in a plastic box, and raw dogged my
Sometimes that's
way through
how
that
it is.
tournament.
Sometimes it's just how it is. You rock
That's
up
it.
and you're like, I have an army, let's just run it.
Yeah, pretty much, and that's exactly what it was. You lads also put a lot of work into, dress up and drawing maps and writing up, themes for your army and all that, which I really, really wanted to do. I really wish I could have, joined in on that, because it looked like just so much fun. But, with the big move and everything, I was
It's just because you're not
not going to be
committed.
doing that. Yeah, not enough dedication. That's it, mate. I got to get dedicated.
Get dedicated,
Yeah.
get on it. Easy, let's go in round one. This is actually your round one, Damo. So we
Yeah,
may as well
yeah.
lead off from there. And this was, look, I was sitting next to you for this guy, and it looked like an interesting one because it's a full mounted Dollar and Roth army with Imrahil,
Yep.
and he can actually smack a twin.
Oh, he can. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think like Eru Iluvatar was watching over me this game, to be honest.
And this is Fog of War, just for the
Yes,
news,
so
I didn't
Fog of
put it
War.
in to be
So
helpful.
he has to pick one of the two twins, which makes it easy because I know that they both have strike and they both fight 6, and then he has to defend like 1d6 knight. And if I get a bow shot on it, like I just kill it.
Yeah, because you can pick Imrahil or a random knight, because obviously you only had one hero. You're never going to pick Imrahil.
I think he had an unpainted knight. Yeah, I'm going to pick Imrahil. And, I mean, Fog of War, this is against Nathan, so good friend of ours. And I mean, I don't like just sitting back and shooting, but when he can run into my guys and like tie them on fight value with double the dice and potentially just one shot my whole front line with his knights, I needed to play really careful. And it happened to be that when we both moved up a bit and I actually lost the priority roll off, that was the pivotal one where he was just outside charge range of him. Like he was like 11 inches away, so he couldn't charge me, but I could still shoot him. So he had to move up, and then I got to engage and like call combats where I needed to. And I really went hard. I think I killed like half his army in the first turn. And then like Hill was bonking heads with one of the twins for a while, and then I mean none of the twins ever dropped. He trapped one of the twins. We both had one might each. He didn't decide to call the strike. I won the roll off, knocked back like 4 knights in Imrahil, and lived. And it's like that was my leader.
He'd take it.
And yeah, I mean that was I feel like that was like a 10-3 or something in the end.
So
I
you
just
managed to
got
get
really lucky.
the random knight as well?
Yeah, I killed the knight. I think I killed him with a bow. No, I combated into him. Into him instead of going after Imrahil. He lost like most of his horses. Imrahil lost his horse in that fight where he had one of the twins trapped on horse, and I obviously can't shield because I'm on a horse. So like I won the fight, killed Imrahil's horse, and then he couldn't get to his objective. So he kept Imrahil alive, but yeah. So it was a good game, close. At the start, and then like he just lost a bit of momentum, which is what happens with all cav armies.
Yeah, you're really. Absolutely. I feel like, especially you're all mounted, you're only at 300. You're begging to just get that one good charge off, and if you take too long to do it, you're getting shot in the meantime. If it doesn't line up, it's going to be really tough.
Yeah, and I mean, we just fought in the middle of like literally right above where it says round 1. Like we fought in that little like circle of like houses. So he couldn't really wrap and trap, whereas my little bases could like sneak in. I did some tactical dismounts with one of the twins just to like get him in.
Hot.
It's like, I can't get in. I'm gonna dismount. I'll get 3 attacks now. Cool. 3 dice, 6 dice, needing 5s. Like
that'll do the job.
Yeah. So that was my first round. So the boys are up 1.
Awesome. And right beside you, you can just catch a glimpse of him. I was up against
Dan
Mr.
White.
Dan White with the Pits of Dog Order.
Ooh, that
And I'm
surprise
sitting
attack
there,
at 300.
surprise attack with just an Azog at 300 on the White Warg
Dang.
against Hunter Orcs with I have Fight 4, which is nice, but Azog's Azog. And I have a lot of squishy heroes that are Fight 5 and 4, which I might have a bit of strike, but it's not looking fantastic. In the shooting, I think I may have gotten 200 or 300 off the shooting, which I was perfectly happy with. I was trying to delay Azog by I threw a dude forward. He combated free hero combat off. I couldn't shoot it out with all 6 dudes. He then manages. I just do a big dum. I leave Malher. He's in a forest, but I just didn't consider how far the quarter movement would still get him into the forest. Azog goes into the forest into Malher. He only has the 3 attacks, so he doesn't get the knockdown or anything. Wins the fight. He then rolls, I believe it was 1-1-2. No, 1-2-2. And so he's sitting there going, okay, I wound on 3s. And obviously, we're at the stage where I know it's his target. He knows it's the target. And he goes, stuff it. I'm going to spend 4 points of might and just kill him.
Right move.
Which
Makes sense.
gives you 3 points. And obviously, if it's my protected, because I'm protecting either Grishnak or Malher, it denies me points. But it means in a list where he doesn't have Master of Battle, he only has 2 strikes max occurring. And in the next turn, and I'm not sure what possessed him to do it, because obviously the terror on Azog with the White Warg is correct. I'm sitting there at courage 2 and 3, really struggling. Ugluk the turn before had rolled Snake Eyes to charge him, so just sitting there just like an idiot.
6 in the win, baby.
And realized he was on his objective and wanted more bodies and dismounted off the White Warg. And I went, that's pretty good. And he left 1 might on Azog, 1 on the White Warg. So now no longer has terror and only 1 might. And I went, well, I got it. Also, he has Thrain. I forgot to mention, who is up the back of the board just doing courageous and like probably 50-50. And I'm just trying to make him run towards me because I thought about doing the White Warg, but Thrain is just so easy. So I go in with Grishnak and a bunch of boys. I strike up against Azog. I win. I one-shot him. Because Grishnak's a Chad. And gets +2 to wound when he's with the boys.
Yeah, he's only D5 there, right? So
he's
Yeah.
D5 because he can't get the armor. I then next turn, he calls a move with the White Warg and it doesn't affect anyone except the White Warg. Moves around, charges. Grishnak goes in. Pass. I think I spend a will and a might to charge in. Last point of might to strike up. One-shot the White Warg with Grishnak. And I'm sitting there going, this guy is the GOAT. Meanwhile, Ugluk has 1 mission. He combats off a dude, runs 8 inches towards my objective with a bunch of dudes. Thrain runs towards me because I'm going, come here, buddy. Come here, buddy. Kill Thrain. And then just sit on my objective. And that ended up on a 12-3 because obviously he'd gotten his target, but I managed to keep everyone else safe. MVP Grishnak. Just,
You get him in the right spots. Get him in there with an Urukai.
Yeah.
Trapping, backstabbers. +2 to wound.
Yep.
Oh, he is incredible. He is incredible.
So good. And yourself, Sean?
My game. So, I'm going to be brutally honest. I obviously clearly repressed this game so far down my soul because I only remembered halfway through Alex's game what my game was. Now, this is going to be terrible because I versed the man himself, Tim, Mr. Tim Wright, and his Mirkwood Rangers. And I'm sitting there going, well, my D4 Goblin Prowlers are going to love running into this, 100% Bo Tariel, Captain Sentinel list. And then I looked at the table and I was like, okay, this is all right. Until I looked at the far left side of the table where it was just this crevice and this direct line of just shooting. And I had to run towards that. Now, luckily, the shooting actually did not do too much against me, which was wild. He did do a lot of move and shoot, so he did, miss a lot more shots than he probably should have. I think by the time we started getting into combat, I'd probably lost 5 goblin prowlers. But the big one,
That's acceptable though.
oh, absolutely. I'm taking that every day of the week. That's fine. Because I run into his D3 Mirkwood Rangers with throwing weapons. Dead,
Love it.
dead, dead. But the big one is at one point he goes, oh, I'll just see if I can put a wound on Groblog. And he goes, cool, first Mirkwood Ranger. Hits. 5 in the ways. Pass, 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 pass. Wounds Groblog.
Nice.
Oh, okay. I roll my fate. Fail my fate. Oh no, pass my fate. And then, well, did I pass? I had to use 2 points of might because he ends up on 1 point of might, so I must have failed that fate. But anyway, the next guy, he goes, oh, just do it again. Hits. Pass in the way. Does a wound to Groblog. Groblog's sitting there, dicks in the wind.
No
with
fate, 1 wound.
No fate, 1 wound, and 1 point of
Oh.
might. And he's the guy that I'm trying to save. It's the guy that Tim, I'm guessing, is trying to
Well,
kill.
yeah, so yeah.
And I was just like, wow.
6-point swing just sitting there.
Yep. I was like, I don't know how he's done that, but he's done that somehow. So I piss Groblog and 2 goblin prowlers off to my terrain piece, which is other side of the table, as far away from Tim. And then I just ran everything into Tim, and the goblin prowlers just throwing weapons, and his elves just dropped. Tariel, MVP for Tim, absolutely minced through goblin prowlers as she would. Now I can't remember the complete outcome of the game, like points wise, but I know it was a 1-point win to me. It was a tight game, and that's going to be a theme going forward for me.
But 3 wins, boys. We're doing well.
Three wins from us. It's what
Yep.
you want.
I've peaked.
That's it, boys. Call it a day.
All right, that's the end of the video. Make sure you like, favorite, share, subscribe. Bye.
Okay, and now round 2, going into the other scenario that we took.
Destroy the supplies.
Gosh, good call. So, Damo, you don't have a heap of models, but you do have a bit of shooting. How are we feeling about destroy?
I'm feeling good. This was one of my practice games. I think I practiced with this list twice. And I played. This is the first time I've actually played the twin, so I have no idea what I'm doing, to be honest. So 2 practice games. Never played the list. Going into it, I'm playing on the Kingdom of Direct Deep board, so not great because half the board is that giant hole, and I can't get my cav in. And I'm playing against Thrall, and Thrall had a full warband of King's Guardians. So I'm playing against Chris.
Fight, 4 strength, 4 throwing weapons.
Now he's
D7.
D7 everywhere. One of my practice games was against Mop, and he was running Durin and Half Guard and some of the Vault Warden teams, and I rinsed them. I mean, like one combat killed like all his Vault Warden teams. Did not happen here. So a lot of terrain on the board, so I can't really use my bows. I mean, the twins both have bows, but a point of might needing 6s to wound his guys, and then 6s by 5s on Thrall. Yeah, 6 by 5s on Thrall.
No, it's 5, 6 by 6.
6, yeah.
That sucks.
No, strength 3. He's defense.
Oh, strength 3, yeah.
Yeah. No point shooting him anyway because he's got the Arkenstone. So I just shimmy up a little bit. I'm not. This is probably the mistake I made, is I didn't just full send. I shimmied up half with the cav. I only did shooting for the first round or 2 with the twins because they could move 5. But by the time he got to the middle line, he got to the middle before me because I shimmied up slowly and I just seeded too much of the board. And then when I finally got into combat, charged in, I think I spent 2 points of might on both the twins to combat and win the fights and then kill the guys that they were fighting, only to go into 2 more, kill 2 guys with both of them, go into another guy, fail to kill that guy. And then they're just sitting in the middle of this open board with Roger standing there and he's got full stats. I was lucky that every time he he would he would win the roll off. I mean, this he calls the move because I win the priority, or I don't win priority, and then I call the move, and then he wins the roll off. Thrall just charges into one of the twins constantly. I think it was Beleg. He just kept charging into Beleg because Turin was like a little bit further away, so he couldn't be charged by Thrall, and Beleg just kept winning the fight. Just winning
on two dice as well because he's still mounted.
Two dice.
Yeah.
He never struck with Thrall because I'm like, I got a point of might. Do you want to strike? Because if you strike, then you're going to be out of might. I have a little bit more than you, not much, but I have a little bit more. And then like I just lost the fight in the Great Hall. A couple of my guys were running to go and capture his objectives, but he sneaky bugger with his dwarves. I ended up just calling like a heroic move with Turin and just saying, see you later, Beleg. Have fun fighting like 9 Guardians of the King and Thrall and have no backup. And then Turin just went off and like burnt one of the supplies. Heroic move without me. And then I mean Beleg lived.
Oh,
he drew so many resources for the whole game that Thrall just sat in the middle. He didn't destroy any more supplies. He only won because he broke me and my banner bearer, Courage 5, decided to run.
Oh, classic.
So it was like a 2-4 because he had his objective still. I burnt one of his supplies on the last turn of the game, and none of our leaders were wounded. So super low scoring. Chris was great fun. I mean, it was more. Chris was new, so you know, you got to cater to the your opponent. I guess you can't just rinse them, because you're there to like bring them into the hobby. There's no, there's no excuses. He played well. He did well.
Yeah, he did very well throughout the tournament as well, which is good to see in here.
But it was good. It was good, like showing him little tricks. It's like if I did a move here, then I could do this, or I could slingshot, or I could just ignore you by peeling this off, and then you're fighting him, and just little things that you get over time, or having other people who are better than you do it to you, and then you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna make sure that when there's a cave drake there, and he's like, do you want to strike? You strike. Otherwise, he barges into you and kills you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Geordie.
Bastard. Honestly, I was really impressed with Chris. I think I played his like second and third game of the game ever before the tournament just to see what he liked, and he's picked it up super quickly. I know he plays other games and things, but just came in and just bossed it. And he was up near the top, at the top near the very end.
I think that's also really commendable of you. Sorry, Alex, but of Damo there to you know, you're going to a tournament. You're probably there looking to win, but you're still respecting your opponent, knowing that hey, this is his first tournament. You know, his third or fourth game, and so you're running him through the motions as well. And then that's really big on your end, man. And respect that.
Because I've been on the other side. I'm new. When I was new, like I went to my first tournament, and I think I won. I don't think I won a single game. But the opponents were great. Like of course you might have a bad egg or two. But you know, you got to curate the hobby.
Absolutely.
And if you're not bringing people in, then what are you doing?
Yeah. 100%. Take us away, Ernie.
Oh, it's me. I'm Ernie.
Yeah, you're Ernie.
Me. Also, round 2, destroy supplies. I was up against Chris's Gondor, his Minas Tirith, and that was Faramir on foot and a Knight of the White Tower, and I think then was a mix of
Sorry.
There 3 Chris's?
Did we all verse Chris's in round 2?
I think we did, yeah.
I think we did.
Yeah, because you played my mate Chris.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
That's really cool.
That's cool. Anyway, carry on.
That's what makes sense that you faced 2 Chris's in the last round. So the Knight of the White Tower, Faramir on foot, and then I think it was 4 or 5 guards, Fatal Court guards, and the rest were auxiliary vets, which was pretty sick. No real like threats to I'm not too scared of any of those heroes or anything. Obviously, the fight value is a bit annoying. We had about an equal number of dudes. But we go into it, we're trading shots. I'm obviously able to move up 4 inches and still shoot. And I think I pull off maybe 2 kills or 3. He gets 1 or 2. Basically nothing happens. And then we just get to that awkward turn where we're both about 4 inches from the middle. I win a priority. I'm going, well, I don't want to move up and get absolutely wrecked. So I do like a 2-inch shimmy back. and then he moves up 2 inches to match. We exchange a couple more shots, and then he wins priority, and he goes, "Well, I'm going to take space." Moves right up into me and just goes, "Well, I'm just going to hope I can survive getting charged for a turn." Unfortunately, a lot of bad stuff then happened.
Where
I
did you
think it was
touch him?
Grishnak, Ugluk, combat strike into the Knight of the White Tower, removed him from the board.
Ooh.
And again, Ugluk, I don't even think he got a wound. All Grishnak. Just been an absolute chat again. On the other side, I completely ignored Faramir and Malher, and the boys just slammed into a wall of vets, just trying to trap as many. I think I removed 3 or 4 from the table, but when you think about, like, he had like 17 models to start, I think 3 or 4 models is massive. That's like a genuine section of your force. And from there, with 3 points of might left on Faramir, it was gonna be a tough. Like, obviously, I only had Malher near Faramir, but that's still another fight 5, 3 attack, strength 5 hero. And I think Faramir called the move. I let him have it because I had so many dudes left. He went to a random dude, called a combat, spent a might to win the fight, and then didn't kill the guy.
That's Faramir.
And I'm like, yeah, that's just Faramir. And meanwhile, obviously, I'm just destroying it because Faramir was on one dude, and it's just, in the meantime, all the Uruks and the Orcs are just ganging up on everyone. Animosity is doing an absolute work of defense 6 because the
Such a
Uruks
good
needing
rule.
4s. Oh, it was just so, and especially at minimized. Like, I had 18 models total, and that's probably on the mid to higher end. So when I can guarantee a lot of 2v1s with the animosity, it's pretty damn good. And unfortunately, yeah, just everything started falling apart. I then actually realized, I'm supposed to be going for objectives, not just killing
Kill.
stuff. So I sent a couple guys down. I think Ugluk even called a march, and just to try and get down, ended up burning everything on the last turn. The last kill was me killing the banner bearer, who was one of the archers. But honestly, and I got to shout out to Chris because he had the nicest, and I think it's his own 3D printed stuff with they're all the samurai. And it was the white armor and the cherry blossom. It was just
cherry blossom stuff.
Such a nicely painted army.
Is that Chris from
Oz
Wargaming? Yeah.
You guys should
Look,
check him out. If you're in Australia and
Yeah.
you want some minis, check out ozwargaming.com.
Absolutely. Not a sponsor. Yeah.
Just a friend of the channel.
Yeah,
Just a friend of the channel.
or just rock up to a Victorian event in Melbourne,
And
and
he'll
he'll
be there.
probably have prize support, and then just win it.
Just win prizes.
Just win. Roll 6s, win tournaments, get prizes.
That's it.
Profit.
But I decided to piss off the guy who makes miniatures, and yeah, so that was a big win for me. And just that 3 might out of Faramir in 1 turn to literally do nothing was just absolutely gut wrenching.
Brother, I played at a tournament yesterday as of recording this where I took Faramir, and that man is actually just the worst.
But you're taking him or Glorfindel?
What? Oh, who am I taking? Him or Glorfindel?
The Battle of the Mids.
The battle.
But you could get 2 Faramirs for 1 Glorfindel.
for one
right?
Glorfindel.
But you can also
almost
get 3 Grimbolds.
I'm taking 3 Grimbolds.
3 Grimbolds, yeah.
Absolutely. I'm taking 3 Grimbolds.
Surely one of them rolls a 6 and you might it up, right?
Eventually.
I'll be honest, I'm still thinking I'm taking Faramir over Glorf. Just to piss people off. All right, so my game for round 2, I also went up against a Chris, one of the 3 Chris's at the event, and I believe is your mate, Damian there.
Yeah. This is his first Lord of the Rings event.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely awesome, and he had an incredible display board, which we will see at the end of the video.
I'm so
I believe.
Disappointed I put the wrong picture in the wrong round. We will see a picture of it though. Yes,
it was glorious. It was this backdrop of Minas Tirith, and he was running Bannermere mounted with just Knights of Minas Tirith.
yeah, 6 or 7.
6 or 7, something along the lines of that. And that is a list that is genuinely scary at 300 points. If they get one good turn of a charge, they will decimate whatever they touch.
Yeah, it's the might to keep the momentum up every turn and just
Exactly. He's got the same amount of might as I do, 6 points of might. Yes, he's only got it on the 1 model, but that's perfectly fine. So the way this game worked, destroy the supplies. He deployed on his far right-hand side. And just, I think his game plan was to run down that flank and then touch my first supply and then just slowly run across the backboard, which makes sense. That's not a bad game plan when you're an all-mounted one warband army. But my 25, 27 models in total just gummed them up. I was throwing one goblin into Boromir a turn. If he heroic combats, awesome. I'm draining might there. I'm not spending might. When I'm charging in, I'm throwing axes. I don't care if I kill my own guys. I'm just gumming these guys up as much as I could. And then I sent, I want to say, 6 guys down the right-hand flank of the board, which was completely uncontested except for one Knight of Minas Tirith that he went to try and deal with those goblins, which theoretically could have done the job. But I was able to get on there, take 2 of his back supplies. I was 1 turn away from reaching that last supply. I don't believe he might have gotten 1 of my supplies, but I killed basically everything except for Boromir. He did kill a boatload of goblins, as you do. But no, it was a very good game. He was a great opponent as well. Really, really chill dude. He was just having a great time throwing Knights of Minas Tirith into goblins and just watching goblins die. So no, it was a quick, easy, easy sounded condescending there. Easy's not the right word, but it was just a nice game. It was a quick,
Just
easy,
flowed
chill
well
kind of.
and-
It just
yeah.
flowed. It just happened. We both had a good time. Well, I believe we did anyway. So yeah, it was just a nice round.
Actually,
Which is
it's
good.
honestly one of the just having a nice, easy round. There's no issues. You're just playing the game.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I mean by easy. There was no, heated debates of like, oh, you can't squeeze that through that gap, or oh, you can't do this, or that's not how this rule works. It was just we both had this understanding of each other of this is the ebbs and flows of the game. And for his very first Lord of the Rings event, dude's got some knowledge, so
Hell yeah.
it's good
Got
to
a very
see.
good teacher, I think.
Oh,
Whoa,
mate, Moff must be doing a lot of
Yeah,
work.
he is. Mob's doing all the carrying here. That's it.
So there's the Chris round done. Where we all play now, Chris. So, Damien, you just lost. Then minor
Lost to my Chris. Yeah.
minor loss. Sean, a decently large win. Sounds like.
Yeah,
like-
a mid to top end kind of win there. Yeah.
Yep. I had a win as well going into round 3, the last singles round, and capturing control. And thank you, Sean, for taking pictures. I didn't take any during the game, and I really regret it.
It's actually a hot photo.
It's
So-
pretty hot. Groblo's just chilling.
He's looking the wrong way.
So I'll let you know if you go back to round 2.
Yeah.
You see that photo? Those
Yeah.
are my goblins that you can see.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Mop took these.
No.
Oh.
Get ready. You see that dude on a warg at the very middle
the
of the
blue warg.
table.
Yeah.
You see how that's Harajimori's? This was taken at Toowoomba.
Oh,
This
you
is-
dirty dog.
This was my game against Liam at Toowoomba.
Ah, of
Alright,
course.
You ready for this? Let's go to round 3, baby.
Is this also Toowoomba?
This was round 1 at Toowoomba.
Oh my god, it's Yangma.
This is my
You
round 1
dirty
at
dog.
Toowoomba.
Hey, it looks good enough. It's Groblog and the boys.
Could have fooled me.
Round
God
3,
damn.
hit us up, baby.
Yeah, so I got to play against the Rainbow Elves. So
Oh,
I
Tim.
played against Tim. So we're playing capturing control. I pretty much deployed everyone on the front line. I don't think I rolled anything above like the 3 because you have the 1, 2, 3. You have to deploy in the front half.
Okay. Well, sometimes
So-
you don't even need to.
No,
You don't
exactly.
even want to. You just
Exactly.
say, hey, man, I'm going to be up the front.
And obviously he rolled like 5s and 6s, but he deployed as far back as he could so he could shoot. Without ceding too much territory, he pretty much deployed on the 12-inch line. And then I deployed on the 24, left a couple guys off on the flanks to go and like ping the objectives, and then I just full sent. I just charged at him. I don't think he actually killed anything with shooting. I think it was 2 rounds of shooting he got on me. Didn't kill a single thing. I think I actually killed 2 of his elves that he like left out in the open. And I managed to get like cheeky shots and just kill them. I mean, forced to win with elf bows. So, yeah, I'm currently up. I think I have more models than him, and then I have 1 point more of might than him, and then obviously 2 cav. And it just became a grind fest. I mean, I think Beleg got into Tariel. I think she charged him. I think he got the heroic. He won the roll off and then charged Beleg on horse, and I sent Turin in. He body blocked. He actually killed Beleg this turn.
Oh,
Just one shot him.
just a minute. Yeah, fair enough.
Um,
Tariel kind of crazy.
which activates the heroic challenge.
Which is free.
It is free,
Sexy.
but I must charge him if I can.
Hell yeah.
And effectively at this point in time, I'm ahead in kills. And it's really just his captain and Tario left, and then like a couple guys, and then one on his back objective, just making sure that I don't go and get it. I end up killing that guy with 2 of mine, and I capture his back objective, and then they swing back around to come in behind the main blob. And Tariel is fighting Turin, and I call the heroic challenge, and he accepts because obviously he can strike. He strikes, loses the fight, doesn't take any wounds. Next turn, I actually had a guy like near this fight with Turin. Turns out, when you call heroic challenge, it says that the models are still involved in the fight, but they don't add dice, which means Tariel can charge 2 guys, and she gets an extra dice. So she's now got 4 dice to fight him. I mean, this heroic challenge goes on for like 4 turns or something, with both of us like trading back and forwards. We're both saving our might. Neither of us want to strike. His captain's just munching on guys. It gets to the point where he finally kills Turin, gets 2 points of might back, starts moving back to his objective. He has none at the minute. 0. I've killed his sentinel. It's just the captain and Tariel.
And the game just continues going on and on.
He's slowly munching through. He puts his captain on the middle objective. I don't surround him. I like send a guy in, spear support, and then try and trap with whatever I have left without engaging. The captain's just slowly winning and killing them. I end up with 1 model left. The game just keeps going on.
Oh,
I have 1 model left, and he has Tariel and the captain. Game ends.
no.
And I have all of the objectives.
Oh, thank God. Considering he could have won on either a wipeout.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or the game keeps
game
going.
ended. And I won.
That
It was
is clutch.
So tight. It was so close because he got the 2 points on might back. He was able to call combat, kill the last couple guys on the back objective with Tariel. Couldn't flip it. I don't think he flipped it anyway. And then I scored out with 1 model left.
Damn. My man. Man.
That
Ben's
is
clenching his sphincter there.
So, no, great game with Tim. Definitely some misplays from both of us, but you know that's what happens when you've got a really experienced player and me.
Another really experienced player.
Yeah, I'm getting there slowly, but yeah, it was a fantastic game. Tim's elves, you know, his themes are always hilarious and fun at Minwise, and that's really what it is. And we had like a little thematic thing going on when we were playing, and then the game ended. So yeah, I clutched the win. I don't think I should have won, but I did. So, you know,
take that to the
I'll
bank,
take it.
baby. Cash that in. Hell yeah. Oh, actually, yeah, 2-1, still probably a decent big win there. Yeah, fucking up there.
Yeah, it was a big win. It was a big win. So I've had 2 big wins and one
one
really
tiny
minor
loss.
loss.
Yes,
Which is not bad going into a 4-game tournament. If you're looking to podium at a tournament that doesn't have all these extra themey stuff added to it, you can pretty comfortably go in with, the last round with 2 wins and a loss.
Yeah.
End that tournament on 3 wins and a loss, and there's
if you got enough
slim
VPs,
chance.
yeah.
There's still that chance for the podium.
And I mean,
And also, you did podium last year.
I did.
You did
last
come
year I
second
had
last year.
Grimbold though, so a bit different. That's why.
Yeah.
And we'll find out later. And this is pet peeve of Mops is we ended up with the same score in the end, like in terms of win-loss ratio. But our position on the leaderboard was so vastly different.
Interesting.
So
we'll talk about that when we get to the scoring as well. Also, my game was against Rob Hayes, a dear friend of mine, who was running a full mounted terror wall of a Mouth of Sauron, a Nameless Wraith, and Morgul Knight. And all I was sitting there going,
Disgusting.
just it's Terror and Harbinger and Magic, and I'm now down to courage 3, 2, and 1, and I was not excited. I think I deployed slightly back. We're talking like 8 inches back because he deployed slightly off the midline with his first warband. So I was just out of charge range, gonna see what happened. Anything I can dismount is just massive. I was every shot I could that was open, I actually went to into the ring wraith because that has all the harbinger that makes everything so much harder. The only issue is by sitting back, I cop a 2 drain courages turn 1 on Malheur and Ugluk, I believe.
Yeah.
They both roll 5s and 6s, and so I just cop them. But so I'm now down to courage 2 with my 2 Uruk heroes. Which sucked. Next turn, I'm like, okay, well, I need to kind of bait him in and then go for a full send. So I move up within charge range. He kind of oh no, he didn't charge in that turn. He tried to throw another drain courage, failed on one, and then the other one couldn't see a hero because I decided to actually hide them this time. And then so I was slightly in charge range. I win priority. He actually, we discussed whether he should call the move. I was kind of like, yeah, it depends what you want to do. If you want to keep draining courages, eventually I'll probably kill something with a bow, maybe. He ends up calling the move with the ring wraith and kind of half charge with him because he couldn't really get everything, and I was kind of split between 2 halves of a direct deep building, which I was pretty happy with because it meant 1 less mud on the table and a kind of half-ass charge. So he goes in with like the ring wraith didn't charge, it was like 4 Morgul Knights, and then in reserve there was still the Mouth of Sauron, about 3 more. And I think I went ahead and I spent, I'm gonna say it was 2 might and at least 2 or 3 will to get all 3 heroes in, just to guarantee that they would get in. I chucked as many dudes as possible. It wasn't much, but I got 3 or 4 more dudes to charge with some spear supports, and I called strike and combat from Malheur and Grishnak, and on the other side, Ugluk by himself called a combat because I don't need to do another courage test this turn. I just need to get in and charge again and kill stuff because otherwise I'm just sitting there not doing anything, getting destroyed. And thankfully, Ugluk kills his guy, goes into the ring wraith, and I'm like, hell yeah. And I even got an orc in as well, so I'm sitting there going, I can do some damage. This guy's a no fate ring wraith. I can kill this dude. Malheur and Grishnak on the other side, he was like, why'd you strike? I'm like, I need to kill these guys. So Grishnak struck up to like fight 7, goes into 2 more Morgul Knights, obviously shanks him because he's the absolute goat. He's
We're
the goat
going to change
time.
MGG's logo to just a face
Just
of Grishnak at this point.
And I just filled, and it made me filter through and behind. The only thing, Ugluk with 3 dice. I think the banner. No, I didn't have a banner. 3 dice still with I think a 1 point left. Loses to the ring wraith and cops a fucking wound. And that was, and I failed the fate obviously because that's how the
As
game
you
goes.
do.
But I was just being so close to like having that perfect turn of just getting rid of the magic was so close. And then I cop another charge from the boys, and that hurt. I didn't get a lot of charges with my hero, so I lost a couple models. But then the next turn, the Mouth of Sauron is, I think he'd thrown it. He tried to throw a transfix with a might point, and I resisted on Ugluk. Someone. And he's down to 1 might, calls his last might for a move. I counter it. I win the move off. And finally get a couple more courage tests off. And again, I'm throwing these every turn. This is like everything comes down to these 2d6 rolls. And finally push onto the mouth and get onto him. And I think it was again Grishnak and 1 random Uruk.
God's work. God's work.
Thank you. Just killed him. And I was like, there.
Is that a back?
It's Grishnak. Just it wasn't even trapped. It was just, but it's D6. I'm winning on 4s. It's just
Force. Oh,
it's
animosity is incredible.
It's gross. And Ugluk did nothing else for the rest of the game. He was just getting wrecked by the ring wraith. But as soon as he lost the magic support, and again luckily having the Uruks there for fight 4 was so massive because there were a couple of charges from the Morgul Knights where they rolled 4s and 5 highs, and I was shielding, getting 4s and 5 highs, go to a roll off. That's enough. Just holding them off for that one turn is massive. I did manage to get into his back objective, but I managed to hold my 4. I think break him and get his leader, and I broke and took a leader when he had 2 of his own. But somehow I don't know how I pulled it out, but I just knew I had to spend might to get that first turn courage test in, because otherwise it would have been a sitting dark.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
move.
really tough game. Rob was a fantastic opponent as always. But yeah, clutched out a win there.
Well done, well done. So, my round 3 was against big man Jude, and this is the most ridiculous game I think I've ever been a part of. So again, capture and control, and I deploy on the line. He charges in. He has last alliance with Isildur, Rivendell captain, and then just a bunch of random foot dudes of, various Numenorians and Rivendell and whatnot. Now, his first charge, our first turn of combat, I lose 13 goblins. I'm nearly broken in the first turn of combat. I control 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 5 objectives at this point, which is nice. So my game plan turns into all right, cool. Break and end the game. Break and end the game. And that's essentially how the game went. But it was one of those games where you're playing the game and you just feel bad because you keep losing and all your stuff's dying and you're just getting pushed further and further and further and further and further back. The one shining moment, and this is what secured the win for me. I'm spoiler straight away. I did end up winning this game. What secured this victory for me is Isildur hops off his horse, puts the ring on, charges into Durbers. I then get my move a couple of goblins around, go into the shooting phase. I get my 2 goblin prowlers and I go, I'm going to try and take your Rivendell Knight captain, or Rivendell captain off of his horse, but I'm going to have to throw through the Durbers fight, which has Isildur, invisible Isildur in that fight. I hit the fight. I hit Isildur and I do a wound to Isildur. Beautiful. You'd sit there and you go, cool, that's great. If that's, that's a turn of events, I'm very happy with that. But then the fight phase comes around. Isildur rolls triple 1s. Durbers rolls a 6. Durbers does a wound to Isildur. Isildur passes all of his fate and everything, so, nothing too special there. But then the next turn comes around. He calls a heroic move with Isildur.
No.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
What?
Oh yeah.
Cool. Does anyone want to have some guesses of what Isildur does as he's about to move?
I reckon he rolls a big fat 1.
He rolls a big fat 1. Oh, big fat 1.
Oh.
And I move Isildur backwards. So everyone else either has to move backwards away from the objectives that he has not yet captured, or stand still and do nothing.
Which is a crazy rules interaction where he's had to call with me first, then resolve the ring, and then get fucked by it.
Does the ring go when you activate the character or before priority?
When you move, no, when you activate the
It's when you activate the
declare
character.
with me first, which sucks.
Yeah, and we did get David over, the TO over, to try and figure out how this interaction works, and that's how David deemed it. Now, if we got this wrong, let us know in the comments. Get down there, and I'm happy to be wrong. And if I need to retroactively give this win to Jude, I absolutely will, because he deserved the win. He played this game
model for model,
beautifully.
he spanked you.
Oh, 100%.
But
I got
objective
walloped.
games that end on 1s and 2s just
exactly.
Yeah.
And so that turn where old mate, failed the ring charge and moved away, I just went into kill my own model mode, and game ended next turn. He couldn't get onto the objectives,
like
and
a 3-turn game.
It was a relatively quick game. I want to say it was probably about 5 turns.
Okay.
Because we had a couple of turns before combat hit, then combat hit. So I want to say, yeah, maybe about five
Yeah.
turns. But it was just, I think it was like 9-6 my way or something along the lines of that. 9-5 maybe something along the lines of that. But again, I walked away from that game just going, I did not feel good about winning that game because it was just one of those games where everything was going in Jude's favor. He played the game perfectly, and it just came down to pure dice just messing with him.
Feels bad.
And that sequence of events with the seal door was what gave me the game. Otherwise, it's his every day of the week. But hey, that's dice games, and that's what happens. But it was a great game. Jude, phenomenal opponent, and I'm scared to ever have to verse him again.
His wrath will come back. He'll come for you. So
never
we're
roll it
into
again.
round 4. Damo, 2 big wins, 1 small loss. Sean and I, 3 wins. We go into the doubles. And so Sean and I are kind of looking at each other going, what place do you think you are? Because if we're 1 and 2, we have to face each other in the doubles.
Yeah.
Luckily, no more goat v goat kin strife. We go into round 4, and we dodge each other. I'm up on table 1 again, and you're on table 2. Damn, you're not far off either. I think
I'm on table 3 at this point because I'd be on 3. I think at this point
because at that point, because there were 4 people on 3 wins, and I think you were probably easily top of 2 wins.
Yeah.
And we go into it. Tell us about your game, dude.
So my opponents for this game were Dan White with his Azog.
Yep.
So that's why I think we were table 3 because he was having a pretty good run outside of your game, and then his partner was the great Mr. Liam.
Oh, Liam Harder.
Liam Harder.
So
Liam Hardon.
2 fantastic opponents. So Liam was running the Spider Queen. And he was in the Legion, wasn't he? He was in the Legion with no.
I think he was doing Drew's. I think he was doing Drew's shenanigans. I think or Moria and Spider Queen.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And then my partner was Cameron. Now Cameron, I've played with him a couple times. He's great. His list. He was playing the Assault on Helm's Deep with a bomb.
Dirty man. Dirty
amazing.
Man.
You love to see that.
I have a look and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. They've got like 1 massive hitter, the Spider Queen, and then like 30 goblins. And we have a pretty elite army because Cameron was running a couple of berserkers, and then he had the captain and the bomb team. And then here I am with 11 models, and I was like, cool. The whole time that we set up as we deploy, we're actually looking at the bingo sheet. So there was a bingo sheet that came along with this.
Well.
Oh, that's right.
And Dan White had a couple of what are the Hunter Orcs? Hunter Orcs with bows or whatever. Are they Hunter Orcs? They can get Hunter Orcs in there.
Yeah, Hunter Orcs with bows. Yeah.
And he put them on the highest piece of terrain that he could get.
I started jumping them off.
He could do the jump bingo test.
And you need to survive the fall. To be clear, you just jump off the highest point of terrain.
He lost them all. They all died. They all died. So
Incredible.
all of their shooting power gone. No more shooting power. We're moving up. We're doing a couple shots. He's not doing any magic. He's keeping the Spider Queen back. Turn 2, I think we won priority, and I had the twins in charge range of like the front line. I think we lost priority, and he moved up, and they moved up. So Liam's guys are like in charge range of both the twins, and I'm like, he has his leader in the second rank. I'm gonna full send, charge them both in, combat with both of them. Spend a point I might to kill, I think, with both of them because they're not performing today. The twins, I mean, they've been okay, but it's mostly just luck bailing me out. Now this is probably where I'm not gonna say the more experienced player, the player who's doing better should probably throttle the game a little bit instead of just throwing 6 points of might at a wall. Needless to say, I had 1 might on both of them, and I failed to kill the bears.
The one
Failed.
job.
I could only get one of the twins in on him, so I sent him in, and like, oh, who's this? Because I like his models. I think they were like proxies for the heroes, so I kind of forgot like who was who. So I'm like, oh, I'm killing the shaman. I'm gonna get rid of him, and it's like, nah, that's Derbez. It's like, oh,
Oh shit.
okay, he's got 3 might. I'll still try and kill him, and I only put 2 wounds on him, and he passes the fate.
Yeah.
So he's alive on 1. He's prone. I did pull one of the twins back, just in case. And then next turn they win Prody. I keep the might point just in case I need a strike. He moves. He wraps one of the twins. He wraps. I think he wraps Turin at this point. Yeah, he wraps Turin. He strikes, rolls a 1.
Did you strike back or did you hold it?
I didn't. I held it. I'm like,
yeah, stunning.
I don't think you get it. And he didn't.
That gut feeling coming.
And he lived.
Clutch.
He lived. He lived for the first turn.
Stunning.
Second turn, however, he died. So I lost my leader. I think it was actually his shaman who got the kill, and then his shaman like ran off.
Hell yeah.
But he like then jumped a fence.
I was trying to run away from the other twins.
Yeah, exactly. But Beleg's like behind my front. Like he's repositioned in the middle. He's going there to go and like prepare for Azog because Azog's starting to push Cameron's side, and Cameron's just he's doing some crossbow shots. He's trying to shoot like all the wargs out because all the wargs are going for our back objectives because destroy the supplies. And then I'm kind of just keeping like a small reserve force for the spiderlings because obviously the spider queen can pop them out and then they'll run 10 inches, go and destroy a supply. And one of the twins, because it's like you have to move the shortest distance to get towards the opponent if you can or whatever, or you must charge. So now the other twin is in the middle on the whole ground objective, like charging guys, calling combats, trying to get my guys to reposition while he's just grinding. He's trying to get like through to this wall where this shaman is. And Azog comes around after like killing off Cameron's captain because Cameron just left him like a little bit too far out. And then Azog's just like bonked, dead. Cool. See you later. Thrain turned on our side. He like charged Azog.
Oh, hell
Didn't do anything, but it just tied him up for a turn, right? And then it got to the point where my whole front line had pretty much evaporated because I'm holding off the whole goblin horde and the spider queen, and it's just rough. Like I'm shielding off and I'm
waiting for the bomb
fights,
to blow up or do something.
I just can't stop it. And I'm like, oh, Liam, wouldn't it be funny if you just held down this whole line? He kills like 4 of my guys.
Oh,
no.
like,
I mean, I deserve that because I told him.
You asked for it.
And I asked for it, but it was cool. It was fun. And then like I think he like killed one of his own guys, but that was it. And then like Durber just went prone or whatever. And then he like popped out the spiderlings. They went and run. And this is like the second to last turn or the last turn. I mean, it was just a slow fight. They're slowly pushing up. None of the objectives are getting touched at all. Azog comes into the middle to come and like, he's coming to kill Beleg, right? Beleg's been the MVP this weekend, I think. And Beleg's like out of might at this point. He's still fighting to try and get to this shaman who's jumped the fence. So now he's like 2 inches away from Beleg. Azog comes in, charges a couple of Cameron's dudes. We bring the bomb team. He's like, what do you want to do with the bomb team? We can either send it to go and deal with the Spider Queen and all of Liam's goblins, or we can blow up Azog. And we're not looking great. We're not broken. They're broken at this point. And it's like, well, we could try and kill Spider Queen and maybe Durbers and a bunch of those goblins, or we try and get rid of Azog. I think Azog's the bigger threat to the whole army. So, mind you, our whole force, we have like 8 or 9 models on the whole ground objective right now.
Oh,
Azog's there, Beleg's there. Bomb team goes off. Cool. It's not a Titanic explosion. He rolls the dice, 1 wound. He kills the guys that he kills all of our dudes, including all of his berserkers. The guys that Azog was going to combat off, died. Azog copped a wound, failed to fade it. Beleg was fine. He just like, I'll just take a wound. I've got two wounds, 2 fate. We quartered ourselves, and the game ended. And we had the whole ground because we just moved like a couple guys to go and like maybe play the objective. Whole ground was like 8 or 9 points. It was a 13-all draw.
Oh,
because quartered ourselves, and the game ended straight away. Like,
God
it didn't
damn.
matter about all the rest of the kills because they didn't matter. They destroyed our back objective with a couple of spiders. We were going to go and grab their retrieval prize, but we would turn out. And we just outnumbered because he didn't dismount, right? So Azog's sitting in the middle, and he's like, okay, cool. There's Beleg, there's a crossbow that was like 2 inches away from the bomb or 3 inches away from the bomb. So he's within the whole ground. And then one of the guys that was going for the retrieval was also in. So he's way out. So we tripled them on the whole ground and the game ended. It was so dumb. We didn't even think about it. It was like, oh, maybe we don't quarter ourselves and quarter them, but then Azog calls the combat and probably kills Beleg. I don't know what the right move was there, but it was hilarious. It was such a hilarious way to end the day.
Absolutely.
It just didn't make sense. And we're joking the whole time. Liam's telling funny jokes. We're all pissing ourselves laughing,
To start the game off with 400 orcs just suiciding off the top to fill in a bingo sheet. Hilarious. Love it.
That would have given Liam his fuel to keep the jokes going as well. That meant, how many shout outs did he give? Did he shout out to Big Full Caravan Parks?
I don't know. I can't really think
To the
of it.
table
I'm sure he
smashing
did.
club.
I'm sure he did. Shout out to like
Liam.
I don't know. Actually, I probably can't say it on YouTube.
So far afterwards, we'll do our first bleep. We'll do it.
Nah, I think it was like shout out to like the Suicide Gang or something, and it's like it was a fun time all around. It was just hilarious, and I mean, the whole table was erupting with laughter the whole time. I think our game finished like first.
Hell yeah!
Because we just ended it. We were playing for like an hour and a half or something, and then we just ended. Game ended.
Yeah,
just
done.
Cool.
And we're scoring it up, and I'm like doing the sheet, and Dan's like, "Oh, how's it doing?" I'm just like, "I'm doing it. I do the math, and I'm like, I'm double checking, and I'm like, is that right? Is that actually what it? Because I'm like, we've lost this for sure. It's like 13 or
draw.
We drew, and it just hilarious.
Wow,
amazing, so good. I love doubles.
That double scenario is incredible, and I just want to remind people, this is that round. This is that double scenarios where you've got hold ground objectives, you've got destroy the supply objectives, capture and control,
retrieval,
and retrieval.
Plus, so like breaking leader as well. So it's
yeah.
So that's why there was all this talk about the hold ground, the destroy the supply. So this is that real funky, fun little scenario where you can potentially get, what was it, 26, 28?
Something like that. Yeah.
VPs. So yeah, big scenario. But Senor Alex, you've got a spicy one.
Crazy game. I was paired with Alistair. I think Alistair, who was hadn't had a good run so far. He had brought Lothlorien with Rumil, Orphan, a banner, which meant he was a super elite force, and he had some Guard of the Gladden Court as well.
6.
Which is not a lot of dudes at 300, but I'm sitting there with my guys going, okay, we've got some fight 6 now. We've got a banner. Okay. So I'm sitting there, we have like 20 seconds of chat about this. I'm like, cool. Hurricane Orc, hit something. Elf behind, spear support. Banner helps out. Hell yeah.
Death.
And then we look across the board. We're facing aforementioned Geordie Moss of Geelong fame with his all-mounted Suladan and Servant Guards and Harad Raiders with a lot of bows in there. And Chiram, who had shown up late, and I think that's the only reason he was down the bottom, with a King's Champion and spam Iron Guard.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
Which is not fun. So we don't have a heap of shooting. They have a lot of fight for. They hit hard with the Harad, more mounted guys.
They got a banner.
They have a banner as well. And we're just sitting there, and I'm going, cool. We're going to get to the middle. And we're going to just see what happens. We're going to see what happens. We'll just do it. We get up there, and we are taking absolute hell from the Harad. I lose like 4 orcs or something before combat, which I only have 8, which is not a great feeling going into that. But we end up with this kind of stand where the dwarves are taking a long time to kind of come through their flank and eventually move towards the middle. And we had one turn where we had lost priority. Geordie moved around. We had moved right up, so we were within charge range. We lose priority, and we go, well, we need to get on these guys. They're going to keep just running around, shooting us until they get the perfect engage. We call the move. They call back. And I think we win and charge, and we throw stuff in. We just make the Red have to commit. And like, sick. We get to fight. They're stuck here. And the main thing in my head was that there was a turn later where Sword had to call a heroic move, and essentially the only way to actually do anything was he had to hop the fence while mounted. I'm like, sick. He won't get to do anything. He won't get to charge this turn. We can just jump onto the guys, even if they charge in. We get elf support. Doesn't matter. He obviously rolls a 6 to jump over, charges in, starts wrecking house, and it's just knocking the King's Chamber, the Iron Guard start getting close. And I've been trying to like, we have a very weak right flank with like Ugluk and a couple orcs. They're not really planning to do anything. They're just going to try and annoy them and slow them down. And we get this crazy couple turns where Suladan dives too deep. He's trying to protect himself from Grishnak, who's hiding behind. He's trying to like sneak behind him. And then he gets a Rumil to the side and just dies. Ugluk gets surrounded by the King's Champ and a bunch of dudes. I roll a 1 on my strike. He dies. And everything's looking super crazy. No one yet. We've got, I think, one Harad Raider who's made a dash for our back to destroy the supplies. I've made a run with Malher for the back retrieval with 1 Uruk with him to go for the destroy the supplies. And it's looking crazy. We both break relatively evenly, which is, we didn't think we'd get that far. Especially, luckily, the defense 6 on the Iron Guard just wasn't holding up as much, which was fantastic. Orphan's kind of doing bits, which I was really happy to say.
I love Orphan
Sean, yeah,
so much.
You're an enjoyer of Orphan.
I'm an Orphan enjoyer.
And we get to this turn where they break, and we're like a slightly off breaking so far. So we're like, awesome. And I just do something dumb, and I leave. I often just tag everything, even when they break. So I didn't tag enough stuff that I needed to. And something passed the courage test and got onto one of the capturing control objectives and swung a 4-point swing because it tagged ours off and turned it on for him.
Oh. Yeah.
And then also an Uruk running for the back objective ran away. And when once we broke the next turn, I was going, oh, this is horrific.
Looking
We're about to
grim.
lose on the middle. And then the last point I'm out on the board, we knew the game was going to end the next turn because everything was dead. We're like, cool, we need to kill stuff on the middle, otherwise we're done. We had tried to count up the VPs. We weren't sure. We just went, well, we're just going to vibe it out. We'll play the game. Rumil combats off a Herald into 2 Iron Guard, kills the Herald, kills the 2 Iron Guard. And we're like, fucking insane. What a lad. Because he failed both, I think it was both Fate on the Herald, just fluffed it. And we're like, oh, this is insane. And then we go to do the count, and I'm like, I actually go on to join him. I'm like, yeah, good game, man. You deserve that. Good win. And we count it up. And we go, wait, it's not a draw, is it? Count it up again. Like, it's a 7-7 draw. Because I didn't realize, because Orphan was Alice's lead, because Rumor copped a wound, but Orphan was his leader.
Oh, wow.
So Orphan escaped with his life, but Ugluk had died. Suladan had died, so that was equaled out. We had double in the middle, but they had like 3 of the capturing control, but Malher by himself had grabbed their retrieval. I don't remember exactly how that ended up working, but a 7-7 draw, super duper tight, a crazy game. Yeah, just really, really fun, honestly. And again, going like you did, going into that last turn or so, I think we've lost, but I don't know what the score is. There's too much going on.
Yeah.
And then almost the reveal of finding out the score was just fantastic.
That's what I absolutely love about that game, or that scenario that's been made up, is you can't just do quick maths to go, all right, this is where I sit with VPs. This is what I need to achieve. You just essentially, unless you are controlling nearly everything, you have to go, all right, cool. I need to just get as much stuff as possible. You can't do the maths and go, cool, I can sacrifice that objective to grab that one.
Yeah, there's 11 different points on the battlefield. And they're all worth slightly different amounts. They're like between 2 and 7 each. So you just like, all you know is you got to be everywhere. That's
Yep,
it.
absolutely.
Yeah, you're flying by the seats of your pants. You can't
Which is
mimic that.
fantastic. I
You
love
really
it.
can't. You can't do what you normally do. And it's like, oh, if I kill your leader, I get 3 points. If I get the objective, it's 3.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely spicy.
And Shawnee.
All right, so I'm gonna preface this game a little bit. Going into this game, David comes up to me and is like, so because you didn't bring any themey stuff, even if you win, you won't make podium. And I went, that's fine. I'm not here to podium. I just wanted to hang out with the boys because I was
Last big
moving back up to
tournament, yeah.
Queensland. You know, I wanted to go and eat some ribs at the Sporting Globe for lunch and have some brekkie with the boys. And that's what I was at this tournament for. So David said that to me. I was like, that's fine. That's all cool and dandy. And I go up against Damo's mate, Chris, who's running the all-mounted Gondor, which I versed in round 2.
To the Chris round.
The Chris round. Then I went up against the other Chris, the Chris
My
that
Chris.
your Chris, the Chris that you versed, Damo, who was running Thrall and all those Kingsguard Grimhammers.
Can we guess who your partner is?
You could take a wild guess.
It wouldn't be Chris.
No,
No,
I wish.
So close.
Could you imagine? You know, trifecta of Chris's. That would have been phenomenal. But no, my partner was a fella called Riley. Now, people know what my list was: 27 models, Durbers, Groblog, Prowlers. My partner's list, interesting. Had
But again,
a
let's remember we are playing top and tail, so you're
yes,
there
yeah,
to help
absolutely,
if you want.
absolutely.
We're not there to help.
A
What was
king
the
of
list,
man.
Sean?
It was a king of man mounted with a couple of Gondorian warriors, just a couple of boys, sword and board lads. Then it was a fiefdom's captain mounted with a bunch of pikemen, and I think he had like 2 Blackroot Vale archers in there and 2 Citadel guard with bow floating around in there. Now those men at arms with pikemen with goblin prowlers, oh my lord, disgusting. Oh, it's incredible. Anyway, but seeing my opponent's list and then seeing that we're going up against Thrall and Banner Boz and sitting there going, we've got 0 answers for Boromir and really 0 answers for Thrall. This is coming down to our troops killing their troops. Now, the table that we're playing on is a Durack Deep board, which a large portion of that table is covered up by the big Durack Deep keep. And I briefly touched on this before, where I sent 7 Goblin Prowlers in and killed 7 Grimhammers. Another group of Grimhammers came in and killed a bunch of those Prowlers that I had in there. So we had this really awesome fight trying to get to the capture and control points, which were basically directly outside the doors. The side doors of this keep. So we just had this fight going in through there. The whole ground was basically directly in front of the main entrance to the Durack Deep keep. So a lot of the fighting happened around there. And then on the other side of the board, Boromir and his Knights of Minas Tirith were running around facing off against my prowlers. We all really focused on the capture and control points and on the hold ground point. That's what we were all going for. And then we were going to then focus on destroy the supplies and retrieval those 2 points, just as if we can get to it. Now, on my right-hand flank, Boromir and those knights are decimating my goblins. And so I have to think quick, what can I do to stop Boromir from just wreaking utter havoc? And I've got one choice, and that is to send my leader Durbers into Boromir and just sit there and just tank. And Durbers tanked Boromir with heroic defense for 3 turns. Then tanked Boromir for another 2 turns, hazard a guess, maybe a third turn.
Oh,
But
wow.
just Boromir did not fucking move. Durbers
Damn.
was just there, just going, do what you want,
I'm
son.
a big boy.
He's
I'm-
just a
I'm-
fat Putin meme.
Yeah, brother was just chilling. A couple of knights broke through my line and started charging down towards the destroy the supplies objective, which is when my teammates, two Citadel guard, turned around. This knight was on the objective to burn it. The Citadel guard turn around and just kill that knight. My opponent suddenly has nothing more that he can send down that flank to get that. So that's all nice and secure. What else is going on? There's the big fight in the hold ground section where throwing weapons are just popping off. I'm killing Grimhammers with throwing weapons. Grimhammers are killing Goblin Prowlers with throwing weapons. I've never seen, throwing weapons be this deadly in a game. Yeah, it was just honestly a very, very chaotic game. And this tournament happened 3 weeks ago, so I am struggling to remember all the intricate details of what went down. But being that I was versing one of the or both of the Chris's, but one of the Chris's in particular, his first tournament, he was 3 wins going into that game. And with what David had said to me before this, there was a part of me that was going, do I not throw the game? I still want to give him a game and give him a challenge, and I want him to earn the win. But like, do I make it? Do I take my foot off? Do I take my foot off the gas a little bit to give him this chance of taking out a tournament win, taking out a podium?
So crazy. Oh,
and I was battling with that the entire game. And then I walked over to Alex's table and I saw how that game was going. I didn't do any quick maths on it, but it was looking really, really, really tight. And I just thought, if there is any resemblance of a draw in that game, I think I can snag a podium. So I went back to our table and I went, cool, I'm going to play this. I'm going to attempt to win this game. And we won the game relatively handsomely. I want to say we got 18 of the 28 VPs to our opponent's 5 or 6 VPs, something along the lines of that. And so walked away with 4 wins to my name. Now, I finished my game before Alex's game. And so I'm sitting there going, oh, that was a dick move on my end. I should have kind of like given Chris the, not the win, but, made it a little bit easier for that win to happen. I should have done that. I was like, I feel a bit. And then I hear, holy shit, I think that game's a draw. And I'm sitting there going, boys, I think I'm in. I think I'm in for a chance here. Yeah, incredible last game. Both Chris's fought that game, valiantly. That was a tough matchup. Not too much more to say.
Fair enough. And yeah, four games. I don't know, you guys. It doesnn't feel like a massive, crazy long day.
No,
the games they flow so quick and they just move so quick. I don't know what the next slide is, but we'll just do it. And I wanted to put all these in because Minimize is built on the theme and the fun and all this stuff. So I really wanted to give everyone a chance to get their names heralded in the video. We'll put some of the best painted stuff. So up at the top is Chris's display, and I can't believe the PowerPoint is cut off the rest of it, but a fully painted with the perspective of Minas Tirith and the knights coming down. Oh, it looks sick.
It's gorgeous. It is gorgeous.
But yeah, we'll run through the lore master. So after every round, we were doing trivia questions, and it went to a tiebreaker. And our daddy himself, Daddy Conquest Creations, pulled out the win. Master of Theme. I don't think this was written theme. I think this was just overall what David liked the most overall. Went to Matt Edwards. I wish I could talk more about him, but he's He's a high-profile GW man, so he, Maestro. So Jacob and I did sing a song to Carly Rae Jepsen's "Call Me Maybe" about the journey of Lurtz taking Merry and Pippin and then dying, and then Grishnak and Ugluck getting murked by Aemir outside Fangorn Forest.
Editor Sean, insert video here.
Editor Sean, maybe don't.
One in a big pit of mud, don't ask, it was very yuck. We saw the white wizard then, and now we're choking orcs. We're burning up the west fold, slashing and dashing for a kill. I was always looking for this, but I want to kill more. Search for the halfling, take them, kill the others. Our one head is where we're going. Where you think you're going, Frodo? Hey, we just met you, and this is crazy. Now catch my shield, bro. Let's knock like baby. Now I'll take Boromir. Triple shot, baby. Now catch my shield, bro. Let's knock like baby.
I did manage to clutch the best theme, and you can see at the top right, I kind of put together I think I actually grabbed his Ugluck's speech to, I think it's Grishnak, when he's talking about like, he's the top dog, I serve Saruman, he gives us flesh, he's the best. I even brought in like a bloody knife and the really bad mannequin head that I painted green the night before, and I wanted to put hair on it so I could hold the head. And I went, wow, the wigs cost so much, like $35.
Ooh.
But if I get this beard, it's $10. so I put, and you'll see on the next slide, I put this beard on the top of the mannequin head to hold around as if it was my snugger. It's so bad.
It's bad. It's so good, man.
It's so bad. It's good. Damo, I would. Oh yeah, your hastily drawn map.
Yeah, it was just of like the forests of Brethel. Like, you know how like sometimes you might see like an exploded view, and then there'll be like a little square that shows like a close up.
Yeah.
I think I did the opposite. I think I did the close up, and then the exploded view was like the larger area.
Gotcha.
Oh, very nice.
And then it was just like, honestly, I probably got carpal tunnel just drawing that many circles for the trees, and it's like trying to draw the lines and just and then like went over to the gas stove and I turned it on and I burnt all the edges.
Classic.
Like,
Oh, you also burnt it inside.
It up.
Sean,
just scrunched the whole thing up, and then
the Thursday night before, Sean, we were in the Conquest studio and we were burning up paper, but people started doing it inside, so the place just smelt of burning paper. And
my favorite bit, maybe not favorite, well, I shouldn't say favorite, but it's my favorite bit, was Matt's in there is like, oh yeah, we're gonna burn this thing, and we're doing it for Matt's like map and his written theme, and we're burning these holes, and then halfway through us burning this paper inside a building, brother goes, oh yeah, I've got
small
asthma.
Enclosed one as well. Oh my, no, he doesn't.
I was like, my brother in Christ, you need to tell me this before we start burning paper inside a tiny building. What are we doing?
Nice.
What a bad.
Mental.
Master of Disguise, that was best costume, also went to Matt He. I can't remember what it's called. It's like
he does like LARPing and he
LARPing. Thank you. Yeah, so he had a full armor get up because he was playing Old Man Dane, and the everyone they were going to like rediscover it was like the tomb of
Thorin.
Yeah. Which was, again, if like when you take that much effort into it, that's just sick. Best single miniature, Al, he's awesome.
Gothmog that you can see in the bottom right.
The shading of the warg and the scale of the color down, just sexy.
It's the skin tone. The skin tone that he did on Gothmog and how that worked out. That he got my vote for best single miniature, and it was like, it's all beautiful. But it was as soon as I saw that face and that skin color, I went, this has got my pick.
It's from the movies, which is great. And I'm usually not a fan of the movie paint schemes, but that's just done so well. Best display, as we've said, Chris's one is just so nice. Fair enough. Best sport to Liam, who we just talked about how Dame had some fun with in the doubles. Liam is known. We're at the point where the best sports award in Victoria could just be named the Liam Harder Award. David made sure to point out he only won by 1 vote. So he's obviously becoming a bit of a dickhead.
He's
too
actually
big for his
trying.
boots. Yeah, exactly. He must be. Well, he put a yellow list, and I was thinking, mate, who are you? Who do you think you are? And then safe passengers. This was for the 2 middle people of the tournament. So the middle, so I think it was like 18th and 19th or something like that.
Whoever hit the direct middle of the
Direct
pack.
middle, so they were lovers, and they get to both have an award. So it was
They're
Gabriel
so
and Tim.
cutesies.
And then we went. I don't remember what the Wizards should know better. I don't remember what that is. I don't know what 2-1. Hate to be that guy.
Yeah,
but-
Yeah, I can't remember.
Tim, get in the comments. Let us know what the hell you won.
Was it a rule? Was it a rules error or no?
Oh,
it was
the best
submitting your
moment?
lists. Was it not?
I got the.
It was either
the
the lists issue, or was it the best moment or the most unlucky moment? One of those.
That
Maybe
No,
maybe
no.
it is the list mistake because he didn't
It's-
add something up.
It's the list mistake.
Oh yeah, his maths was wrong. His maths
yes,
was wrong.
yes.
He was the
Yeah.
only person as well. Shout out to all of us submitting our list right. He had somehow put in the wrong numbers but added it up correctly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it was like something small. But we went to the podium, and you'll notice quickly the points
That's
for
normal.
this tournament are just amazing. So it was something roughly like 10 billion points per win with like an extra billion per VP you scored, and then you got 1 point for every leader kill, and like 100,000 or 100 million for submitting a list on time. Who knows? So Geordie down the bottom with 39 billion, 651 million, and 9 points. Sean clutch up 4 wins, 41 billion, 701 million, and 4 tournament points. But guys, it's all about the theme. It's about singing a song, and that's why I can't believe I have to announce this to myself. That's cringe. 45
Do it.
billion, 251 million, and 14 tournament points.
Let's go. The spaghetti man himself.
Spaghetti man himself.
I love just telling people that I came second at this tournament because Alex sung a song. Now the dude did so much more. He had all of his theme. He did the write-up, display board, everything. As I mentioned, I raw dogged it. But it's just really funny to be like, yeah, I came second at
Yes,
the tournament
'cause it
because
was a song.
Alex sung a song.
You should have thrown, mate. You should have thrown,
I should
Sean.
have thrown.
Yeah,
Oh,
then
no, he should've
I'd
thrown.
get my name on it.
Well, yeah. Well, and the thing is, it was so. And the thing is, so I think it was only a max of, I think it was 5 billion. 5 billion. Can't say 5 billion points max for theme.
Yeah.
So it would have been. Oh man, even like Geordie again. I think Geordie usually pulls out more theme stuff.
Yeah, he
could
does.
he could have definitely snagged second as well if he did it, but
The
minimize
stars.
is my favorite tournament. You can see I took this is my Victorian like top I take to travel interstate and stuff. I just took my white paint the night before and just stuck some hands on there. So I was willing to go the extra mile.
And I think one thing that we should also point out is that you and Jacob themed up in tandem. So he took Lurtz's scouts,
Yes.
you took Ugluk scouts. You both had these black shirts with the Hand of Sauron, and you also did the duet
song,
together,
yeah.
which was just incredible.
Beautiful.
Insert clip again.
It's not done yet. Your time Aragon, avenging boss killing lurks. Now we are running away, Merry and Pippin in our arms. Merry Krishna can take on the way. They think it's sour. We didn't know it right then, but we were still being chased. Men in the distance, riding full of vengeance. Fang on forest in the distance. Don't touch Pippin or I'll kill ya. Hey, we just met you, and this is crazy. Emma, come face us. I'm like a her baby. Where's Krishna gone? Prop chasing Mary. Emma, come face us. I'm like a her baby.
It was truly cinema.
It was the worst part was I had a free period at work the day before, and I'm like, I guess I'm gonna do this. So I just wrote it up. We didn't adjust it at all, and then we spent about 20 minutes on the day between like lunch and everything practicing. When anyone came over, we're like, no, go away.
Get out of here. Yeah.
Get out of
It
here.
was great. It was great.
But and then there we look at the mannequin. It's so good. So the beard's upside down. That's why he has a receding hairline.
He's got a mullet. He's got like half a mullet.
Oh, but as you can hear from what we're saying, and you know, I put blood for the blood god on the knife to make it more bloody. I was like, I need more blood. We love minute. I think this is genuinely one of like the top 3 tournaments every year that I'm like, I need to be there.
Yeah.
Yep.
100%.
Oh, just between like David is a genuinely exceptionally experienced TO with a great players pack, great scenarios. Everyone's there for the right reason. It's just, what more can you ask for?
Yeah. I just went to an event yesterday for my Marvel, and it was like 4 games, and it was like 110 minute rounds. So, you know, an hour 50. And it dragged on. I didn't have lunch. Like between each game, it was 5 minutes. Minimized 300
Oh,
points.
wow.
You have your game. It's really lighthearted, and then you chill out for like 20 minutes while David does all his book work.
Yeah, we had like a full hour for lunch. That was glorious.
Yeah, plenty of time to chill out. I mean, we went over to Grilled. I don't know, some of the guys went over to, was it Noodle
Sporting
Box
Globe.
or something? Yeah.
You went to Sporting Globe, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of. I love big points, but just something about this small points just solidifies like what Lord of the Rings kind of could be. Like just small little parties. You individualize every person. It's like battle companies, right?
I think
Everyone
that's what
matters.
Lord of the Rings was initially built for, from my memory anyway, was initially built for that like 500 point range. And then the community just as itself was like, let's do bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And, you know, we've kind of capped it out at 1,000 points. But Lord of the Rings, in my mind, works perfectly at 200 points, 300 points, 500 points. They're my favorite points levels to play. And Alex runs Blitz 2, 3, 4 times a year, depending on how spicy you're feeling. And those 200 point games are just the most amount of fun you'll ever have. You show up, even if you do this at home with your mates, it's 20 minutes to set up, if that. You put models down. Games
2x2 board as well. It's the genuine, like, this is on the kitchen table easily.
Yeah. Games take 30, maybe 40 minutes at most, and you just have the most amount of fun. You can have multiple games. You just play. And that's why I think, Minimize works so well at 300 points, especially when everyone is there for the right reason, which is that theme.
Yep, 100%. I don't think. I'm curious to know what like the look, and I kind of made fun of him before the tournament because Jono, our mate, brought one of the filthiest lists, and Sean was the victim of it in practice games. It was the Witch King of Dol Guldur, and I think 4 or 5 Castellans with Mortal Blade.
Yep.
And then just a couple Hunter Orcs and Wild Wilds and stuff. Rough. But he did then get, because it's objective scenarios. And I think he won like 2 and 2 or 1 and 3. So the universe balanced out.
Serves him right.
That's it. You're taking something disgusting like that, you filthy animal.
I mean, this is an event you bring like new people to, right? So 300 points 100%. Is you don't have to paint a lot. I mean, you could be like Chris. You paint up Boz, and I mean, his Boz was fantastic. He did the free hand on like the the front of the banner where it's got he did the free hand on that, and then you paint like 6 knights, and that's your army.
Yeah.
Yep.
Amazing. And you meet players, you meet experienced players, you get to learn the game without like the pressure of actually having to do well. It's a bit like silly in that regard, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100. And it's such a low barrier for entry. I think when I came back to the hobby in 2022, I think Minimize was my, I'm gonna say, 3rd tournament back in the scene, and I just painted up some my first Harad models. It was the first time I ran them, and somehow that was my first tournament win ever.
Oh, wow.
That was like Harad King and Dalamir just going wild.
I think we played in that event. Did we?
No, that was Axel Sword.
Oh, that was Axel Sword.
Yes, but still, against David, again, another fun event David runs. So if you are in Victoria and you somehow you've been sent this video by your friend who's watching, who sent you this video, you should be thinking about, hey, I'm interested in this game and I don't have to bring a lot of models. I can borrow some models. Chris who we talked about with the Grim Hammers, borrowed Jacob's Grim Hammers.
Yeah.
And just when people are willing to let you borrow miniatures, jump on in. The most casual format nearly in the entire like kind of tournament scene. But yeah.
I think it's got such a good balance of competitiveness, theme, and casual. It's an all-round event. So if you are more competitively inclined, you'll still have a really, really good time, and you can still feel good about playing your best. If you're just a casual player, you're just there to play games, with everyone and have a lot of fun. And if you want to mess around and do some themey stuff, like Alex over there with his bearded mannequin, you can do that as well. It's just got everything. And yeah, if you can only make it to one tournament a year in Victoria, personally, I would say you've got to go to Minimize.
Yeah, it's Minimize and Scylla. Just
Yeah.
they're very much up there. I love the one thing I love my 200-point games. 300 lets you bring those bigger heroes. Last year I did Dane and 7 Goat Riders.
Yeah,
You're never going to do that in any other real chance, because at higher points you just get shot off the table or something. Lower points you can't fit Dane in. That's just one of those lists that just, when else am I going to do it?
Yeah, you get all those weird and wacky lists. I mean, like Grimbold and I think I had like 7 Wozers.
Oh, did you have Wozers in there as well?
I had Grimbold, I had
That's
Haleth.
so good.
I think I had like 6 Helmingas and the rest were Wozers.
Yeah, double
That's
Great
fun.
Beast. Oh, love it.
But I think it's, if I'll just add another thing onto it, like this tournament, and it's a big ups to David. Normally his events are $5 entry fee, which is massive. I think the ticket price is like one of the big things that can like put newer players off. And David usually has incredibly low entry fees. I mean, this is the first time I think he's ever had over $5. And that's
I think,
just
this was
location.
15 just because, new location, obviously, just to have enough back in to do some prizes and things. Usually he has things like books, or like books about like the making of the movies and things like that, which are puzzles, which are all, like, again, fun prizes, just to make sure that the barrier to entry is as low as physically possible.
And I'm sure this is him out of pocket in the end, in the long run, because he's paying for the table fee, and that's pretty much it. And I think it's just commendable. Like he's bringing players in. I mean, I think Minimize was one of my first events as well. After, like, I think Jacob's event was my first in 2021 or something, and then Minimize straight after that.
Awesome. Well, I feel like we can't talk. We've talked so positively about it, so you have to get down and check it out next year. But with that, you shall not finish this video without liking and without liking and subscribing and telling us about what you think. What would you bring at 300 points? Tell us below. Yeah. Maybe that's what your I was about to say summer project, but people live in other areas of the world. This is your
summer,
end of year little hobby project. Have a little 300-point army. What some friends?
What are you going to do? What are you looking at doing for the new edition?
Oh,
I've just got that new made-to-order Gandalf the White. I haven't received it yet, but I did order it. That is I'm going to build a list with Gandalf the White for the new edition. That's going to be my first new edition army, and I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, let us know what you're looking to do. You trying to be a bit spicy? Are you trying to get back into the theme of the game? Anyway, from me to you, from Alex, from Damo, from the rest of the MGG and the No Might, No Fate community, have a lovely night, day, year, week, whatever it is.
Peace.
Love you.
Later.